Nail or beauty school was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success Podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related, business, marketing, and social media, and at the very least hits you with real, honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. The Salon Success Podcast is recorded live on Mondays at 5 p.m. New Zealand time at facebook.com/Monaco Nail Academy and available on Spotify and Google playlists. Before we get started, wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business.
Hey guys, welcome to the first podcast of 2019.
Woohoo!
So excited.
Too excited.
I'm in charge of this podcast.
You're the boss.
This time, because Penny doesn't want to do it every single time, which, fair enough. So Penny's already said, but for those of you watching on Facebook Live, tag a friend, share it, like it, and tell us in the comments. Oh gosh, sorry guys.
She's nervous.
Today is all about starting your own salon. So flick us in the comments if you've got any questions at all, and we will answer them as we go.
Yeah, especially if you this time of year is super, everyone's like, what am I going to do this year?
Yeah.
How am I going to change everything up? So if you're thinking about becoming a nail tech, or if you just qualified last year, or whoever you are.
Yeah, hopefully you get some good gems out of our chat.
We have a few people watching live already.
Oh,
so,
exciting.
Hey guys.
Hi. So to start us off, we're going to talk about how and why we chose to open up our own salon. Because I think all of us that are on podcasts today, Penny, Mariah, and myself have all got our own salons. So how did you start up? And we're going to talk about why you chose to open your own salon versus going to work for somebody in a salon. So Penny, do you want to start off with your thought process?
Yeah, how I started up. Do you mean like
what made you decide I'm going to have my own salon versus going and working for someone else?
Oh, yeah. So the whole reason I became a nail tech was to do it from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, when lots of people know this already, but when I decided to become a nail tech, it was because I wanted a job.
Yeah.
So I already had a really good full-time job, but I wanted to get ahead, save a bit more money. And but I didn't want a second set of bosses, because I also remember being in high school and I had a job at McCafe, and on a Saturday morning, absolutely, I would be there. But give me an evening shift where I had to do a full day at school and then go to work, and I would call in sick every time because I was a shit kid. But I just didn't want to have that same situation where I felt obligated to do it, and doing something from home felt a little bit more like I was in control, and if I was tired, then I was my own boss. Yeah. It was kind of a chicken and egg thing where working from home came first, and then I looked at jobs that fit that, and then nail tech was one. Yeah. I rented a table at one point and stuff like that, but I never wanted to just work in a salon.
Yeah. So that's the same for me. So both my parents own their own business. So I guess for my whole life, I just assumed I'd own my own business as well. And nail tech wasn't really on my radar much until I got sick of paying other people to do my nails and then me just biting them off. So, that's how that came about.
Nail tech was never on my radar.
Yeah. What about you, Mariah?
No, nail tech was ironically never on my radar as well. But I think probably started slightly differently, although maybe a mix of both. I still I am working full-time as an early childhood teacher of all things, and nails really started off as just like a hobby for me. And to be fair, even probably a good chunk of the way through my training, it was still very much a hobby. And then eventually I started running out of resources to funnel into said hobby, and I started going, how can I convince other people to pay for this? And it kind of grew from there, it started with family and friends, and then I was like, do you know what? I actually enjoy this. And who hasn't heard the whole saying of like, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life? No, I'm not saying that that's necessarily true, but I do think it's a little bit easier to get out of bed when it is something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'd rather do.
Yeah.
Like the saying is slightly misleading, but I don't like, there's a few things I would do, like marketing, and like every now and then I'll see something and be like, that's fun. And then I remember I have a job, but there's not really something where I'm like, I wish I was something. Yeah.
And I think for me, because I'm similar to you, Penny, because of having like already a full-time job, part of the appeal was like setting my own hours a little bit. And as somebody who lives in Auckland, part of setting your own hours, the appeal in that also is like avoiding the hell out of the traffic gridlock that is just like life in Auckland. I was like, there's got to be more than this.
Yeah, so that one actually leads really well into why did you choose a home like salon versus renting a space? And we've just got a comment from Tony saying, I hate people telling me what to do, so being my own boss was really the logical thing to do for me. I just needed to find the thing I liked enough to work my ass off for. Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah. I think most people feel exactly the same way.
I also always thought that I was going to run a business, but I didn't know what in. So like in primary school, I made friendship bracelets and sold them in the playground, and then like did it very successfully. I was, and then I got told I wasn't allowed to do it after a couple of weeks, but I made some money.
Nice.
And I also used to lock mum out of the pantry and then charge her to buy her own food back. So I'd like pretend it was a shop, but I'd make her give me real money. And so I know when I was real young, I was like, I think I just want my own business, but I had no skills that I thought could be one.
Yeah, well, they don't teach you this kind of stuff in school. They don't teach you like how to do this kind of thing. But anyway, we'll go back to the other question. So how did you guys choose a home salon versus renting a space? So Penny, you already touched on how you rented a table.
Yeah.
For me, because I do it part-time, I have a full-time job. The cons totally outweighed the pros of having a space somewhere else. I only work part-time 3 days a week, and then every second Saturday.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't worth investing that money into a space. When I do it full time, I'm going to have to relook at that pros and cons. So I'll probably actually watch this podcast back. But Mariah, what made you choose a home salon versus renting a space?
To be fair, also a little bit of falling into it maybe. So like originally I was, where was I at the very beginning? Was I living at home? No, I was living in the upstairs of like a caravan and motorhome repair factory that nobody in their right mind would want to set foot into, let alone live in. Ladies, I shared a bathroom and a kitchen with tradesmen. Never do that, ever. So,
but you got a brand new house of your own out of it, right?
I did.
You were still,
absolutely.
That's why you lived there. Yeah.
Well, then, I would do that.
But ironically, like having people come to my place was like not even close to an option. So I actually started off mobile and then you do that a little while and you get again pretty sick pretty quickly of like packing everything up and down, and it just is like more time and effort than is necessary. And like we've pre-mentioned, my interests keep growing and so does my shopping, and I don't fit in a case anymore. So I had to find a space to set up. And as Penny mentioned, my partner and I built our own place, and it's a 4-bedroom. There's 2 of us. We've got flatmates, but deliberately one of the rooms was set aside to become my nail room or nail salon. But I feel like maybe studying through Monaco, maybe indirectly, like I don't think on a conscious level, but did obviously influence me in some ways to go to a home salon, and that like that's just what everybody else was doing. And it did fit really well into like the things I mentioned before, avoiding the traffic, working from home. I'm in no rush to be popping out little ones in any hurry, but that weighed on my mind as well, like that actually come having kids and raising them from home, if I wanted to be a stay-at-home mum, that nail tech from home salon is something I could fit in around that and still be contributing financially, as well as just having something for myself. It was all pros and just not many cons.
Yeah, no, pretty much agree with everything that you
Yeah.
said. Yeah, I think even when I go full time, my hubby and I have talked about, we've got an old little caravan that he built that we've kind of outgrown because it's a bit small, and we're going to convert that into my salon.
Cute.
So that'll be real cool, and I'm real excited to paint it.
And touching
that would
on
be
that, yeah, that'd be cool. On what Mariah said about getting sick of mobile, the other thing that I did mobile combined for a while. So had a home salon, but I did mobile as well. The thing is, when you get fully booked with mobile, you're then like, oh, I wish I had more hours in the day. So you just stop going mobile and your hours double.
Yeah. And then a little side note for that is, if you haven't already got it, how to set your prices, talk us about mobile and the pros and cons of that as well. So if you haven't got that, you should.
That's one of our online salon success modules.
Yeah. And so I guess we've sort of talked about this already, but would you recommend a home salon? So yeah, as you say, Mariah, from Monaco, it's not like it's pushed on, but everyone kind of just falls into that because we've trained, we know skills, so we kind of just open up our own salon. Tony's got another
way up your,
sorry, go, Mariah.
your options. No, sorry, I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm trying not to talk over you. I think definitely weigh up your options. Don't just assume that home salon is going to be the best bet for you. Like, if you're not somebody that can self.
Oh dear.
Oh, she paused. Are we all paused?
Can you guys hear us? Just quickly in the comments.
Okay, so without having dead air, Mariah's just paused. Her face is paused to us. I assume you guys can still hear us because I can still see us moving.
Yeah.
But so while we wait to see if Mariah can log back in, Parveen said, I totally agree with Tony. Even I'm not very good with working under any pressure, or anyone rather. I like working with my own ways, but I guess it was also important for me to mold myself to be a team player, and I guess I am working well towards it where I work at the moment. So I know that Parveen currently does work in a salon, as they are flexible and I do have freedom of creating nail art, and that they are promoting nail art to the fullest, which I love doing, but looking forward to having my own salon soon. And Mariah popped in on my Facebook chat and was like, am I still there? And so I don't know what's going on. And then we also had a comment from Tony saying, having a home salon was an easy stepping stone for me after I decided I wanted to be my own boss. Eventually, I didn't enjoy having people coming through my home because who has time to keep their house clean all the time? I also had a really good deal with a salon for cheap rent, which for me feels much more professional and works with my business aesthetic more. So there's a vote for the other side.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. And when I eventually go full time, I'm not sure if I want to still do it from home, because I quite often will be in my room in my salon till 11 o'clock at night just playing. And like, it's fun, but I need to have a better work-life balance.
Yeah.
Because although it's fun for me and it's a hobby, it's still going to be my business. So I need to make sure that I'm thinking of it as a business and not just like, oh, goodies, I can play with them.
I think in terms of would I recommend a home salon or not, it just depends on the person.
Yeah,
like
that's
for
what
me,
I was going to say.
Like how Tony was saying that she didn't enjoy having people coming through her home. That doesn't bother me at all. Yeah. Like I don't know, like I was quite good at finding a way of separating work and home. When my first ever home salon had a separate entrance, so I didn't have to worry about tidying the whole house. When I started from the place that I'm in now, it was down the end of the hallway, so you came in through a separate entrance, but into our hallway. And so the living area was totally cordoned off, kind of like you weren't in the lounge, kitchen, dining. So that area was all ours. Yeah. So I've always had circumstances where I could kind of work around being able to have a little bit of a mess. And I also had like quite a routine where I always wore shoes when I was working. Yeah. I always wore a uniform. And I had a specific playlist for salon time. So, and people came through a separate door. Yeah. So at the start of the day, I unlocked that door and like put my uniform on, put my shoes on, started the Salon playlist, and I was at work. At the end of the day, you reverse that and you're not at work. So for me, that was like quite a good way of being like, I'm at work right now because I've got shoes on, like kind of thing. But yeah, and so the professionalism, there's definitely a slight compromise, but as long as when someone sits in your chair, they forget that they're in your house, then I feel like that's okay. And for me, you could definitely take it up a notch, like by being in a salon, but for me, that's not worth it. So I just push myself to be worth being in a home salon for.
Yeah, for me, I'm finding it really difficult to do that separation, but it's not worth me hiring a space.
Yeah, it takes a while. Also, though, staying up playing till 11 o'clock at night doesn't last forever.
No, I know, but it's still,
Parveen added, many people I talk to say home salon is not a really good idea as they're not comfortable coming home.
Rather better to hire.
I'm not 100% sure what you mean. Sorry, Parveen. Maybe just clarify for us and we'll read it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I definitely didn't have any problems personally, but it's just this personal choice. And
like I choose to go to home salons. So I go to a home salon for my beauty therapy. I go to a home salon for, before I did my own nails, for nails. For lashes.
But there are definitely, in terms of going to a home salon, I would only ever go to one through word of mouth.
Oh, yeah,
so, like,
totally.
If you drive past and see a sign on someone's fence being like beauty, whatever, no, I'm not going into that house
no way.
Until someone, like, recommends it. So you do have to work harder in that respect because you don't have foot traffic and any foot traffic is not going to go in.
Yeah.
However, I think that gives you a better quality clientele. Like, so because people have had to come to me through word of mouth or through getting recommendations or that sort of thing, they tend to be more loyal and stay longer because they actually sort you out instead of just whipping in for a second on a whim. So I think there's pros and cons in that respect as well to working from home. The clients I have are like more loyal and maybe stick around longer kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that feeling too. So our next question is, how did you finance your startup? So did you get a business loan? Did you save? Did you get like a loan from your family? For me, because I work full time and I'd done it for almost 10 years, I already had savings, and my husband was on at me about getting a hobby. And I was like, oh, nails is a cool hobby. And so
hobby.
then when I told him I want to do this course, it's going to cost this much, I'm going to be out of work for this long, and then eventually I want to do it full time. And he was like, that's cool, but that means you have to have a salon because, we're not spending XYZ for you to just have a hobby. And I was like, okay, well, that's fair enough. And I kind of thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, cool. But I'm actually looking at expanding slightly, and I don't want to use more of my own money, if that makes sense. So I'm actually coming up with a business plan to talk to my parents to see if they'll invest.
Fun.
So I think I'm quite lucky in that respect where I have that option, but I know that some people don't. But I think it is, for me, I'd be more invested in it because I had to work hard to save that money to start with. And I actually did the costings the other day of how much I've put in as well, and it's been about $12,000. But I'm about a year into my salon because I actually trained with someone else before I went to Monaco.
I think my mum paid for my course.
Oh, nice.
So from memory, my course was about $2,250, and it came with a small kit, but we also had to use that kit during class. So most of it was gone by the end of course and practice and like exams and stuff. Yeah. But they had like a starter kit deal, which from memory was about $6,000. And I think, but it included the desk. It included
okay. So it was like an
everything.
Full actual kit.
Yeah. There was pros and cons. Like, we have starter kits now, and I've been quite careful in how I put them together because I definitely found that with that big, I think it was like a business starter kit or something. Yeah. With that kit that I got, there was quite a lot of stuff that I didn't end up using, like retail and stuff, where I didn't believe in, like a room spray, which I couldn't sell because I couldn't relate it to what we were doing. And I'm not a good natural salesperson to just like sell ice to Eskimos. So for me, there was just a few things like that left over, and I've been quite careful making our kits to make sure that there's less chance of that. But so I had the 2.5, we'll call it, and that was my mum, I think. And then I think this was a long time ago. I'm pretty sure that the 6,000 for the kit, I think I got a bank loan.
Yeah.
Only because I'm pretty sure my mum wouldn't give me $6,000.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I got a bank loan for that, and so the bank loan probably took a wee while to pay back. And I know that my first financial year, I made my first financial year was 4 months, I think, because I qualified in November. So I made like $2,000. So let's say 8 a year total. So that means that I would have paid off my investment in the first year.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I went full time 4 years later, and in that 4 years I like upped and downed with how many clients I did. Sometimes I didn't really put any effort in because I was just busy at my quote unquote real job, so I didn't put as much effort into getting clients, and sometimes it was different. But when I went full time with a little bit of not that much reputation, just a couple of people that knew who I was, but really not that much of a basis because I hadn't put effort into it before. But I made $117,000 my first year full time. So like, even though the investment, like you're saying, you put 12,000 in, and the first couple of years, it'll take a bit to start getting that back. But if you put a lot, like the real effort in later, then you can definitely make a profit on that quite quickly.
But like my $12,000 is lots of stuff I didn't need. Like I have so much nail art, it's actually ridiculous. I've gone through 3 tables before I found the one that I like, getting new lamps. If I had have done more research and not being so eager to start, I wouldn't have spent that much doing it.
I strongly encourage people to only spend their profit. Yeah. Which totally. Like in How to Set Your Prices that Rochelle talked about before, there's a profit calculator. And so you can literally watch like month to month how much you're allowed to spend on crap.
And now, so this year, that is my goal. I'm only spending profit on my business because I was putting basically all my pay into my business.
So recently, this is a bit tangential but relevant. Last year, end of last year, I read a book called Profit First, which 10 out of 10, loved it. Like, it was so good. And it kind of is like the envelope system, if anyone has heard of that, where like you take your pay and you split it into a food envelope and a rent envelope. It's kind of like that, but on crack and business oriented and not personal. But for the last like couple of months, I've been putting 1% of every single like dollar that comes in into a profit account, 3% into an account called annuals, which is like ACC and accountants and stuff that come up once a year and like get you, and then 2% into an account called petty cash, which is for stuff I didn't budget for. So the profit account I haven't touched. It's just staying there like accruing. And with the book system, you if once a quarter you get it as your like dividends for being a business owner. So I haven't touched profit, but that petty cash account is amazing because if I'm like, oh, I really want that, like let's say that glitter, then is there money in the petty cash account? No, then you can't have it.
That's
and
a good
it's been
idea.
Quite good to actually like mark it out and be like, no, this is what you're allowed to spend on frivolous things.
Oh, that's really good. I might have to read that book.
Yeah, it's so good. I've got it. You can borrow it.
Oh, sweet. Thanks. Cool. So the next one that I've got on my list is is personal loans or business loans are better. I can't really talk to those because I haven't really looked into it. I'm sort of going down that track at the moment. Like I said, I'm going to hit my parents up first because, why not? And then I don't have to pay interest. And then I'll probably go down the business loan route. I don't know. For me, I just feel like that makes you more of like a businesswoman because it's a business loan. But I haven't really looked into it too much. Do you have any ideas on it?
It also just depends. I would just talk to your accountant because it depends on heaps of factors. But when you first train, like if you haven't done your course yet, then I think an accountant would tell you to get a personal loan. Yeah, because
that's true.
You can't write it off as a business until you have exchanged money.
Yeah.
So like if you're a sole trader, you don't count as a sole trader until someone has given you money.
Yeah.
So you would do that as a personal loan because that's an investment in your skills.
Yeah.
But setting up all the other stuff, buying all the stock and everything, that should be a business loan.
Yeah.
And then the other thing to consider is that there are tax implications of like if you got a personal loan, you would then introduce funds. So funds introduced would be what it was marked as in your taxes, and it means that like your business made less money. Business loan would have different terms and it might have lower interest and stuff but I think also you might need to be a limited liability company to get a business loan.
I think there's like lots of hoops and stuff to look into.
I would just talk to an accountant and be like, based on how much money I'm making and where I'm at and everything, which one do you think I should do?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cool. So the next question we've got is, what education did you have? Had you already done nails before, or was this your first time? So for me, my mum has her own salon. She's a beautician and a nail tech. And so I'd kind of seen what she was doing. Like I said, both my parents own their own business. I liked how she could work her own hours. You know, when she wanted to go on holiday, she'd just shut the salon. She did have the issue of she could only go away for a max of 3 weeks because of her nail clients, which was fine. But when I thought about how she got into it, she'd wanted to do it her whole life, but her parents wouldn't pay for her to go to beauty school. So she had to wait until us kids were older and could look after ourselves so that she could go to Auckland every day for, I think her course was like 12 weeks or something. And, you know, so dad wasn't like, kids, what do I do with them? But for me, like I said, I'd been doing my job for 9 years. I was kind of sick of it a little bit and I wanted to do something different. And I kind of just jumped into a course my mum was doing. And it turned out that course wasn't particularly very good for me. I needed the classroom environment.
Did your mum like it?
Yeah, my mum liked it. So it was just a personal
thing.
preference. Yeah, so she liked the one-on-one, whereas I'm way better in the classroom because I'm like, okay, it's study time. Like, concentrate, because that's how I've done all my courses throughout my career to date. But yeah, I didn't really have any education around nails or any education at all, actually. I didn't even finish college.
Me either.
I left at the end of sixth form because I was like, screw this.
Yeah.
But
what education did I have? Well, I just did my course and then bought the kit and then started.
Yeah.
But I had my nails done twice and I was a lifelong nail biter. So that's how much education I had.
Yeah, same. So I had my nails forever as well.
I had none.
Yeah.
I became a nail tech to make money.
Yeah.
So it was, again, a chicken and egg thing.
Yeah. Tony has said that she was working 3 jobs when she was training to be able to pay for everything.
And then other Tony said she's in the same boat as your mum, but she needs to wait until her kids are able to fend for themselves so that she can travel and train.
Nice. Yeah. So this leads quite perfectly into our next question is, how did you choose where to train? So for me, I was obviously doing a different course, didn't really enjoy it.
How did you choose that? You were just like,
my
mum's
mum was doing
fine.
it. Yeah, like, I'll just do this course. And then I was like, no, I need a classroom. And I've told Penny this before, but I had followed her for a long time on Instagram, stalking photos and stuff, and been like, man, I wish I could do what she does. Like, that's so amazing. And then for some reason, it must have been, you know, Facebook's weird, like, it listens to what you're saying thing. And it's something.
It's avatars.
Okay, it's avatars. And it popped up saying, Monaco Nail Academy, I think. And I was like, what's this? Like, looked at it and I was like, this looks mean. And so I was like, I'm going to do this, because originally when I first looked, you were still doing the night classes.
Oh, yeah.
The weekend classes.
Oh, right.
Because someone had told me you used to do night classes. And I was like, that'd be cool. And then I was like, don't want to be there till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But the weekends would have been fine because I worked full time and I needed to take leave. But then just as I eventually got my A into G and went to push like enroll, it became week classes. But that was fine. I just took 3 weeks leave and it was the best 3 weeks I have ever had. Like,
changing classes to weekdays is the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah. So I know that this is a Monaco Nail Academy podcast, and obviously I really enjoyed it because I'm part of the podcast now. But honestly, if you are watching this and you are thinking of training, ask some of the girls that are on this podcast, ask in the podcast comments, been the best decision I ever made to train with Monaco to do nails.
I did not pay her to say that.
100% she didn't. It really was amazing. Like the classroom environment is awesome. There's small groups. Yeah. So I think that I made a really good choice, because when you Google nail academy classes, or, you know, in New Zealand, there are heaps. There's at least 20 schools. So trying to choose between them
quote unquote schools.
Oh, quote unquote schools. Right.
There's definitely not 20 schools, but there's 20 places you can train.
Yeah. And most of them are like little day or 3-day courses kind of thing.
Yeah. Run out of like salons and stuff, which is not to say that those people aren't working hard and like doing a good job of them. But I think there's some places are like, this is a course and but their priority is elsewhere. And then there's a few proper like schools where school is the priority. Yeah.
And the one thing that I really, really liked, which some people don't, is you didn't get a kit. You got to play with like the classroom stuff. So in my original course, I got a kit, but that disappeared like that because I had to use it for training. Whereas I could pay to do my course, have unlimited resources to play with and practice with, and basically any times as well. And then I could buy a kit, and what I did with that kit was clients. Yeah. So that was really good.
You make actual money.
Yeah, you're actually making money instead of using your kit on training.
I think similar to your first course, I did not do enough research.
Yeah.
Like at the time, I really liked my course. Like, I mean, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't still be doing nails. But I think, so it was my sister said you should do what my friend's doing and become a nail tech. And I went like, that's a dumb idea. And then thought about it for a while and changed my mind. But all I did was go, oh, where did your friend train? And she said, here. Yeah. And then I went there.
Yeah.
That's the full extent of the research I did. Like but I'm not a girly girl. Like you guys are lucky I brushed my hair today. Like I'm not a girly girl. I'm not a hair, makeup, nails person. Like I said, I'd had my nails done twice. So it wasn't ever something. And completely honestly, which a lot of people know already, when I said to her it's a dumb idea, it's because I thought that like beauty people, for lack of a better word, were dumb and couldn't do anything better. And it's only because I'm not a beauty person. Like I'm not a hair and makeup person myself. So I hadn't been in that environment to realize that these people are incredibly talented and like driven and exhausted.
Yeah. And your brain's full of like,
all I had to go on was like movie stereotypes because I hadn't actually been around people in real life doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I literally just went to the first place, the only place I'd ever heard of. So like when I did my course, and for some of you this will mean nothing, but others it will mean something. I'd never heard of C&D. I'd never heard of Young Nails. I'd never heard like these massive companies in the nail industry I'd never even heard of. That's how zero Googling I did. So I just think.
Is that real unlike you as well? Because aren't you quite a researcher normally? Not really.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't like shopping, and that extends to online shopping. So, like, I have been known to go into my group chat with my friends and be like, can someone find me a duvet that's not ugly? And then like a bunch of Kmart links pop up from other people that are trying to procrastinate at work. I'm like, cool, thanks. Like, they'll be like, okay, but just check that you like it. And I'm like, I already bought it. It's too late. So in some aspects, you're right. But not when it comes to buying things. I'm like, okay, I've Googled like 3 things and I'm tired now, so I'm just going to buy this one and then regret it later. But I didn't regret my course. I liked it. However, in hindsight, there was not a lot of support compared to what I know a lot of places offer now. And I don't feel like the training was broad enough. Like,
I think my mum's nail course was like 2 days.
Yeah. I just think like I didn't know what a cuticle pusher was till I was 4 years in because we used something else.
Really?
Yeah. And it was at a course when I went full time. I was like, if I'm going to be a full-time nail tech, I'm going to be the best full-time nail tech. Yeah. So I started going to other courses because I was like, oh, I'm not going to stop using this brand that I've used forever because there's nothing wrong with it. But I just want to know everything.
Yeah.
And I went there and she was like, get your cuticle pusher. And I was like, what's that? Like, well, not what's that, but I knew it was a thing, but I was like, oh, I don't have one. I have this. And then she pulled
a cuticle pusher out. Interesting.
So I just wish that when being taught, it's fine if you want to tell me that one way is better, but also tell me the other ways so I'm not a dick in 4 years' time.
So we've got another comment from Tony saying that I agree that Monaco offered the most value for the cost. Plus, I have had so many opportunities offered since training that I know I wouldn't have gotten elsewhere. 100%. I'm exactly the same. You know, being able to do these podcasts. And today I walked in really early and there was a class on and I would just kind of took over so Penny could work on her stuff. And it just reiterated how much I love this. Like, I love nails, and I don't think I would have kept this passion if I didn't study here. Yeah.
And it's not so much that I was like, oh, a student can teach this class for me. It's like Rochelle from the very start was like, I want every opportunity you can give me. So this is like her 4th or 5th time pitching in on a class where it just starts out as, okay, well, you can floor walk and help a few people, to working her up to the point where, like, because I know that her goal is to educate eventually. So it's like pushing her a little bit and a little bit to work towards that while I'm here.
Yeah. It's been really good.
We also have a comment from Parveen who says, I was fortunate to be part of Monaco. I did a 2-day nail extension course and thought I knew everything. But when I came to New Zealand and searched for nail academies, the first name popped up was Monaco Nail Academy. I'll be honest, I did search for more academies. Good. But there were so many things about Monaco that caught my attention to learn from all of you educators. And I know it was my best decision of life.
Yeah.
Thanks, Parveen. You're the best. This has turned into a really awkward, like, just...
We love Monaco.
Yeah, and you know how I feel about it. I'm so awkward.
That's all right. We'll move on then.
Basically, how did I choose where to train? I didn't research enough, and I think you guys should. And I don't care if you choose somewhere else, as long as you researched.
Yeah, 100%. I think you definitely got to choose the course that suits you. Cool. So our next question is, how long did it take from deciding to be a nail tech to being fully qualified? So obviously we've just talked about how there's different courses. And with Monaco, once you've done your training, you've got a year to sit all your exams and then you're fully qualified.
You've got 1 exam in your portfolio left, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
2 exams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so my aim is to be fully, like, all my exams and my portfolio done by June, because I'm the type of person, I need to put a date on it. So, yeah, you've given us a year, but I need to put a timeline on myself or I'll just not do it. Right?
And so many people do that, though. Like, I'd say from every intake, 50% of the people in that intake will submit their portfolio on the last day of their 12 months.
Oh, wow, yeah. See, I don't want to do that because I will stress and it'll be crap. So I've got till the end of June to do mine. So if I make that timeline, it'll be 9 months from starting to being fully qualified.
Yeah, so 3 weeks in class and then basically 8 months of extra work to meet the standard of qualifying. My course was, I believe, it was a long time ago, 12, I'm pretty sure it was 12 lessons. Yes, it was 12 classes, 6 till 9 p.m. So 12 3-hour classes. I think it was like Tuesdays and Thursdays, twice a week maybe. And the very last night was your exam. And so you just did a full set and then they give you your certificate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was literally just, what's 12 times 3? 36.
Yeah.
It was 36 hours from, because remember, I decided to be a nail tech and just enrolled. So it was almost literally 36 hours from deciding to be a nail tech to being a nail tech.
Yeah.
And I don't think I should have passed.
Oh, really?
Let's just put that out there.
Okay.
I didn't know that for a long time because without, like, this comes across really up myself and it is, but I knew that I was at least top 2, if not best in the class, like just comparing my work. And I wouldn't have known anything technical, but this is just aesthetics. And I was like 21-year-old little brat who saw that my nails looked aesthetically better than the nails around me and was like, well, if I've done the work that I'm the most happy with in this room, then I must have deserved to pass.
Yeah.
No. They were awful. No one's ever left our qualification worse than I was. Like, I was not good. It's just everyone else. And they might have done better technical work that wasn't necessarily aesthetically pleasing. But, I did not deserve to be a nail tech when I first was.
And now you're, like, well sought after.
Wow.
Oh, I would say you are.
Just stop it.
I just wanted to make it feel awkward.
So uncomfortable.
So what about you guys? If you didn't train at Monaco or you are currently through training. How far are you through?
Yeah.
And one of the last questions we've got is, would you recommend starting from home first? So we've kind of touched on this a little bit. And again, I think it just depends on the person.
Yeah.
And your time. And
some people, so like I personally think that starting from home was the best thing that I could have done, mostly because I'm motivated by achievements.
Yeah.
And so being able to like see the money in my account was like, yes, this is a good thing. And I needed that because I was working full time.
Yeah.
However, I know of a couple of girls who have gone straight into salons, and that's been the best thing for them because they were thrown in the deep end. They had clients all day, every day, right from the start.
Yeah.
They had, like, bear in mind that if you decide that you want to work in a salon, a lot of people say they're going to work in a salon straight off the bat to get experience or to learn more. And most salons, that's not what's going to happen. Most salons are looking for staff because they are run off their feet and they need help. Like, whenever I looked for staff, I mean, yes, I would help you, but I've got my own clients. The whole reason I had staff was because I was fully booked. So you were going to learn because you were thrown in the deep end, and we were going to definitely help and like stop you from letting someone walk out with bad nails. But I didn't have time for teaching. So
we're double checking everything that you're doing.
Yeah, I needed to trust someone. So for my salon, those of you who want to learn in a salon, mine wouldn't have been good. Some like in the Leah Light Nails and Beauty Studios, you get taught so much because they have people who are able to focus on you in that way. So just bear in mind that that's not always, you're not always going to get to learn in that way. But a couple of the girls that I know have finished our course and gone on to work for Leah's salons have been like, yes, it was amazing because I was thrown in the deep end. I was also supported in the deep end, and now I'm an amazing nail tech. And I know a couple of girls who have home salons and stuff have said to me quietly that like they feel bad about these girls that have finished soon, like after them, but then through working with Leah have ended up like better. So the girls that finished after them are better than them. And I'm like, no, but if you had worked as many hours as they have, you would also be better.
Exactly.
So yeah,
it just depends on who you are as a person and what you want out of being an nail tech, I guess. Yeah.
If I had gone straight into a salon, I mean, I probably would have ironed out a few kinks from my course that definitely needed to be ironed out because when I trained, Facebook wasn't really a big thing. There weren't groups. There wasn't that sort of online support. It was just, and also most like courses and stuff, they would send snail mail to be like, do you want to come to this course? But I didn't have a salon, so I didn't get those invites. So I would get phone calls from the school I trained at to say, we've got another course coming up, like for an advanced thing. Do you want to do it? And I did a couple of those, but maybe going into a salon would have helped with that stuff, or would have, but I don't think I would have been happy.
I think that it's definitely changed a lot now with so much online stuff. Like we've got the virtual classroom for Monaco and all that kind of stuff, and the Facebook groups are awesome. But it really just depends. Like you can't tell someone, yes, I think that you should do a home salon first. You know, like it's really just dependent on you, what you want to do and what you're looking to get out of being a nail tech.
So if any of you guys have comments, then definitely pop them in. If you're watching live on Facebook, if you're listening on Spotify or anywhere else, then you can also just jump to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Monaco Nail Academy, and be able to put comments and ask questions and stuff for us. We're more than happy as well to like fill in the end of podcasts with just FAQs and things people want to know. Yeah,
definitely. And if you've got any anything that you want us to make a podcast out of, then we'd happily take your recommendations as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I think this was a successful first one. And now I'm not so nervous.
Yay. Have you hosted one before?
No.
Oh. Well, you did good.
Thanks. Sweet. So, and if you want to follow me or have a look at my work, I'm Aphrodite.iris. And then we've got Penny Lawler Nail Artist with us, of course.
And we had for a little while.
Yeah, a little while we had Mariah, which is Wished for Nails.
And if you are interested in any of our courses, we have online training, we have in-person training, we have online business training and art training. You can go to www.monaco.ac.nz to have a look at what we do.
Yeah. Well, it's been great chatting with you guys, and have fun in 2019.
Yeah, what are we doing next week?
I'm not sure.
Let's see. Mariah won't be here.
Marketing? Marketing.
Yeah, something marketing-ish. Yeah.
Ooh, that'll be your jam, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. Awesome. Tony said that you did really well.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Bye.